All right, everybody, stand up. What are you guys working on? I bet you have probably done that like hundreds of times. And in case you're using Scrum, you've probably also estimated like the stories that you're working on with story points. Have you ever wondered what the main purpose of that is? In that video, let's talk about it. I mean, in theory, it's actually quite simple, right? The purpose of story points is that you estimate the difficulty of a task, right? With 1 point, it's like super easy, and then you have 2, 3, and 5, and so on. That is like how it works on paper. But actually, there's an even more important reason on why we are using story points. The whole idea of story points is actually to provide more transparency to the management. Why? Because the management usually it's not very technical and gets nervous if a project just drags along and they're kind of feeling like they're not in control. You know, they need some form of estimation of like milestones to kind of see whether the project is on track or not. I mean, here's the thing, right? One could say, okay, just estimating like a story doesn't make it easier, right? So why don't I just start working on it? Well, the thing is that sometimes you just have like these time constraints, right? You have like deadlines, you maybe have like some contracts with like some clients, and you need to deliver things in a certain timeline, and that's why you kind of need these estimations, at least in theory. And on paper, you can also say, yeah, but if I know the story points, I know like the velocity of the team, and then I can estimate how long things take. In my experience, that doesn't really work, because the thing is, you do not have like all the stories groomed and estimated like upfront. You're kind of like doing this on the fly, right? So you're developing and you are also doing requirements elicitation. You just don't know how many stories you're going to have, and you just don't know how many story points like you will have for the whole project. So you can tell for the feature that you're currently working on, but not for the whole project. And the thing is that typically management is like has the tendency to kind of set deadlines and delivery dates, even though you might question that as well, right? So if you have like your own product, so if you don't have any contractual like agreements or you don't need to deliver anything by a certain date, say you have a software as a service product, why do I need like a deadline for a particular feature? You don't, right? Because you could just say, okay, I'm just going to identify what is going to benefit the organization the most. So what is going to increase the revenue or what's going to reduce the cost. And this is what I'm working on. And then it takes as long as it takes, you know. Then you can build like a clean product. And then this is also something you can build on top of. So no tech debt, like no deadlines and no shortcuts. That would be kind of nice, right? Yeah, but oftentimes it's just not how it works. And the dynamic in a company is always something that you need to take into account, right? Because if you have this more Kanban style approach, then what people will do is they will try to push their own like stories that benefit like their department on top of like the backlog, right? Because they want you to take care of these things first. And everyone is trying to do that. And like so kind of you have a little bit of chaos, right? So you don't want that. And that is why Scrum actually in that regard can provide like a better guideline, because you can say, okay, I have like my 2-week sprint, and in that 2-week sprint, I know what I'm going to do. I think that I can do it based on the story points that I estimated. So the main purpose of story points is to provide transparency to the management and also to protect like the team a little bit from like too much outside interference, because Kanban is maybe a little bit too forgiving, right? So people can just push their own agenda on the backlog if no one pays attention, and then it might be that you're actually working on the wrong thing. Yeah, so that's the main thing about story points. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. You can also reach out to me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @productioncoder. So thank you so much for watching. I'll leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.